Young Reporters Disclaimer. Before we get started, a quick note. The views and opinions you'll hear on the Young Reporters are just those of the producers, our guests, and our friends, and don't represent the policies or official views of the Orin Edson Entrepreneurship Plus Innovation Institute. And remember, the Young Reporters podcast is for entertainment purposes only.
Matchmaker Communications 101, in collaboration with Arizona State University's Edson Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute, presents The Young Reporters. The Young Reporters chase down ordinary people doing amazing things in the greater Phoenix community and beyond. These inner-city young journalists take their classroom on the air, a class about ethics, commitment, loyalty, and teamwork. When you're on The Young Reporters, be prepared to talk about things you never expected. And now, let's go into the classroom.
So reach for me like the petals of a rose bloom.
Back in the classroom here at ASU's Arizona State University's Sky Song, whatever, Innovation Center, let's call it that. The Arizona State University Sky Song. It's a beautiful facility here. We are privileged to be part of ASU's Edson Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute. Those meetings with Kim Reynolds, Heidi Jacobson, and Linda Ricciuti about a year ago. Amazing meetings with true visionaries that are driving forces behind this Edson E&I Institute thing that they've been doing. And Arizona State University, I say this at every show if I'm doing my job well, this university has been number one in innovation in the country. I didn't know this till we started with them last year, Alan. I had no idea, but number one in innovation for about the last 16, 17 years, consecutively. Number one across the country, ahead of Harvard, ahead of MIT, ahead of Stanford, where all the money is with Silicon Valley, but ASU is number one in innovation. And according to some of our contacts that we get in and around the show, that Phoenix is now becoming pretty much the new center of what venture capital is looking for. That Phoenix is now the place where you've got the talent of creators, inventors, and you've got all the infrastructure, including things like TSMC out in the West Valley, the monster facility that's being built out there, and I think might be actually up and running right now, that's becoming like a community all to itself. And then things like the university itself, Arizona State being a big part of that, with all the medical facilities. Apparently there's something about this combination that makes Phoenix, all of a sudden, it's got, and they use the word infrastructure, I assume that involves the chips as being one part of that. Now, if we could just get some water, that would help, right? Water's a good thing to have, but we're working on that. The whole, where Jennifer, since you're like one of the creator inventors, where are all the people doing something about desalinizing or whatever they can do with water? What's going on with that? Why aren't all these creator inventors that you're part of jump on that opportunity? This is Jennifer Conrad over here that I'm asking a question to, catching her on the spot.
I think we're just so thirsty.
Well, I mean. Yeah, but there's the inventing mind. Is there a big opportunity in figuring out water?
Yeah, I do believe there's a big opportunity for the water. I mean, especially you have the massive amount of data centers being built here. I live next to one.
You do?
Yeah, I live next to one. It's down on McDowell.
I think I saw that. I saw that. I drove by it. It's not even really identified. It's like a big complex, it looks like.
Yeah.
Do they have a name on the building?
I think it's QDS. I may be wrong, but that's it down there by 40th Street, McDowell. Where
Do you hear the noise around that?
Yeah, no. Well, now it's kind of affecting the water pressure. Just the other day.
Oh, really?
Well, just the other day, I got a text message from I live in a small complex, and I got a text message from one of my neighbors, and they were like, "Hey, is your water coming back as brown?" Because they had turned the faucet on. It was coming through brown. I'm like, I wasn't at home. I was house sitting for a friend. And I said, well, I'm not there, so my water's coming out, pretty clear.
You're up in Scottsdale, right?
Yeah, so I was up in North Scottsdale, but they were talking about that in all it was coming out brown. But I've read news reports in other parts of the nation that they had the homes that were near the data centers the water
issues.
the water would come out brown. So I'm not trying to start a
No, we don't want to create controversy.
Yeah, so, I mean-
but from an inventing standpoint, there's a lot of stuff water related that
well, I mean,
water
takes up a lot of they need water for the data centers because
absolutely.
like with the AI, it's the cooling systems and on that. So, I mean, you would think that you would build a data center where there's a plenty of water. I don't know why you would build the desert.
Again, I think part of it is that that they need a lot of space for data centers. They probably like to be in the vicinity of chip makers or who knows what.
Yeah.
Who knows what obviously whether it's cryptocurrency, whatever, they need a lot of energy. I don't understand. Doc over here, maybe. Let me introduce everybody first, and let me do Alan a favor here. This is the Young Reporters. Today is August 19th. 2026. So we're doing Alan.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Al. You deserve a little bit of that.
I was looking at the timer to see how long it was going to take for you to.
I'm just waiting for
Before
Jennifer.
we got through the first segment.
I just wanted Jennifer to have a chance to make a point about the brown water from data center.
We had to get the brown water in.
Yeah, you had to get the brown water. It
So
is
the inventors
healthy.
out there, inventors that are here with the Edson Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute, there's a big opportunity to
Although
figure out water issues.
a couple weeks ago, we did get through the whole first show without you getting it.
I know.
We waited to the second,
Well,
and then you go, oh, by the way, for
By the
those
way,
that are listening to the first show,
By the way, today's purpose, we have purposes in the show a little bit. We say it's about a show about nothing, but there are purposes occasionally. One of our purposes today is first of all, Jennifer's got
Aaron.
some big stuff. Yeah, that's true, but Jennifer's got some big stuff we're going to get to early because we only have Aaron for a few segments, so we're going to get a lot of stuff from Aaron early. But I'm sorry, Jennifer over here. Aaron over here. I'll get my people straight. This is Aaron Patterson, right? Did I get that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Aaron Patterson. This is her off to school moment. So she is going off to Claremont.
McKenna. I'm leaving in like 3 days. So
In 3
I've done
days.
a couple of these this summer, but it's
a big deal. She's a veteran of
party.
our show. Aaron has been a real addition to the show, and you're going to come back here on breaks, right? Whenever you have, not every time,
We'll
but when you
see.
have breaks, right? Oh, we're on a test case today with you, Aaron. We'll see.
We'll see how today goes. No, this has been a great.
She is a regular. She is a pro.
no, Aaron,
We want to be judged on a regular basis, Aaron, because we can get it. You need to judge us on a regular basis.
no, Aaron, you can look this way. You didn't even leave yet, and I miss you already.
Oh, I miss you too, Alan. Yeah.
So what's it like for you at the moment? And you're leaving in 3 days. So what's the feeling at the moment?
It's crazy. There's so many emotions. I've just packed up my clothes. I'm buying all this new stuff. I just started talking to my roommate and meeting new people online before I get there. And it's just crazy to have that foresight of knowing that your entire life is going to change in such a dramatic way. Like people say, either college is the best years of their lives, or at the very least, they're so informative.
Well, let me do a quick thing in that, because I think just for the Aaron part of the show, most of the people in the studio probably went to college, at least for some years, maybe to some advantage, maybe not. But so my memory of freshman year was, I don't have a lot of memories of. There's some really good memories of college in general, but unless I'm talking with Joan Suzette Tillman, who went to the same university as me at about the same time period, and we were refreshing our memories lately. It's really weird. We didn't know we went to this. We hadn't met until 3 months ago, maybe, or something like that. But anyway, so without that conversation, it's like I can remember in freshman year, the biggest thing I think I learned was that because I kind of breezed through grammar school and high school, probably like you, and certainly like other people in the studio, Joan being one of them, I didn't know how to study until I went to college. It took me a while to realize when the teacher said we're covering chapters 1 through 3, that they kind of meant that. I just assumed that I would just take notes, and I just took notes. I took really good class notes, but then it came time for the midterm test, and I hadn't read page 1 of any of the chapters, and I figured, well, I better read tonight, just in case they test on the book. But I had great notes, and he did test mostly on the notes, but I wasted my time studying the pages of the book the last night, so I was a mess. So that's my one thing I remember from freshman year, really, is that I had to learn how to study, because it used to come really easy. So that's my thing. Anybody else with a college tip for oh, go ahead, Dr. Doug. This is Dr. Doug Morris.
So when I first remember, I didn't go to orientation my first day of college. I just asked my roommates to show me around the campus.
Did they do a good job?
I guess. Like,
You graduated. You made it
I
through it?
graduated, right? Somehow I'm a doctor. So,
And you're a doctor of chiropractic,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Is that like a full-fledged doctor or what?
Yes,
Do
yes.
people call you doctor?
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good. I'm glad to hear it.
So,
We have
yeah.
a doctor in the studio. How about that? That's great. So that orientation from your roommate at work.
Yeah, it was good enough. He basically showed me, oh, this is where your class is, like, go in this building, that building.
Excellent. Did you like where'd you go to school?
I went to school at BYU, Idaho.
Oh, excellent.
So,
I
yeah.
got questions about you for that a little bit
Okay.
later. And by the way, do you have a beautiful campus, Aaron, or what is it?
I do have a nice campus. It's 45 minutes east of LA, so you're not in all the traffic or craziness. There's like some mountains, and obviously the weather of California is nice. But
All right. And
Yeah.
Tom Wood, we're sitting next to Aaron over here. Tom, you were a Rutgers guy, right?
That's correct.
And so like, what was your memory from freshman? Anything stand out from, like, as you're about to go to college and you get there? Any specific memory of that?
It was very positive. I met some great people. It was just a good experience all the way around.
And you went on, one of the things that relates between you and Jennifer over here, you went at some point to become like a publisher, right? You were doing some publishing work, or you did something.
That was for a company that we had formed.
Okay,
and
so-
that was later on.
Okay,
and
so
we
but that
produced two
was
journals.
was publishing in your background to any extent, or what?
No.
So how did you go into publishing a drug industry type?
Well, we did promotional marketing and advertising for pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah,
and
that's a big deal.
we had an opportunity to create two journals that went to primary care physicians.
That's a big deal. We are the Young Reporters. We're off to a fast start with our guests in the studio and our farewell segment to Aaron Patterson. We'll be right back to the short break. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Tom Woodward, and I'm here with the old version of the Young Reporters with our hosts Bob Fishman and Alan Repa.
welcome back. This is Aaron Patterson on the Young Reporters Show, and I have a question for Jennifer. We were talking earlier just a little bit about the like chip making factories and how you're near one. I don't know how much you know about the topic, but it seems like just a big deal, and like the elections coming up with water and just the markets and things like that. And I don't know what your career is, but if you have any connection, I'd love to hear what you know about the topic.
The topic of water and
Water and chips and
data centers.
Yeah, in Arizona.
By the way, Aaron, Jennifer knows a lot about everything because of her background. So you're going to love this
I'm
answer,
so
I'm sure.
excited.
My
Okay?
background is a box of Cracker Jacks. You don't know what you're gonna get. It's like the surprise.
It's like a box of Cracker Jacks,
Jacks.
isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. It's a treat.
So I think, especially kind of like touching on the water. If you're going to build, I know, like if you're going to build a house, you have to, or build any building, you have to prove here in Arizona that you have to have 100 years worth of water. You have a supply of
Every
that.
time you buy a piece of land,
Yeah,
you
you-
get that written in your contract.
Yeah, you have to either know that you have the supply of water, or how you're going to, if you're going to have to do like. Do a private water company, have them supply water, because I don't know, like Rio Verde, it's a community like northeast of like Fountain Hills. That community, their supply of water was by the city of Scottsdale, and so they don't have a lot of water up there. So now they had to bring in a private water company, EPCOR, to provide them water. So I mean, like you're talking about private utilities, now private water. It's
So how does this relate to your background experience?
my background experience with water. Well, so I used to work in real estate. So I worked with realtors, helping them with their marketing, and that was always a big question, especially with
You were doing branding and marketing.
branding and marketing. Like, how would you market a home? It's your private oasis. Like private oasis, and you don't have a water. you don't have a pool or something like that. So I think with water, it's a really important piece of living here in the desert. You need to have that supply. And I don't know if you just saw. I just saw something on, I think it was ABC Family, that the water at Lake Powell is the lowest it's been in the last 30 30 plus years. And so you can see the line of the river. So that sparks a lot of questions.
So Jennifer, from a standpoint of Aaron going off to Claremont, it's a beautiful campus, very green, I'm sure. Probably
Pack
has
lots of water.
Yep. And so Jennifer, in terms of what your current thing is, because I want to cover that before you have to leave, you are like at the dead center of artificial intelligence and a bigger ballpark, because you've been a publisher, an online publisher with Arizona Ascent.
Yeah.
And now it's changing into America Ascent.
America Ascent.
So describe your current journey as you're about to. What is it you're revolutionizing? You've got a startup thing that you're involved in, and you're very involved in the AI world, and that obviously that relates to your water thing, because AI is going to be somewhat dependent on water. So
the water. So what we're doing is we are streamlining publishing. So we're fixing the workflows of the content system. You have an end-to-end platform where you're able to everything is in one place. You're able to upload your documents, your photos, and then you're able to turn that into a 44 page publication under a minute. So we were able to train. Right now, we are working to train our AI how to design artistically and all of that. Because if you look at the publishing, the layouts, it takes weeks and days and thousands of dollars. And so we're able to have everything in place. Everybody's able to upload and and be able to create their own magazine. Because I always tell people you have to become your own publishing company, become your own media, own your own narrative. So that's kind of what.
And one of the other things I've learned from you in the meetings with you and Rob is that with all this. The agents of AI and things like that you're also promoting the idea of becoming your own protection, right?
Yeah.
That's part of what Rob promotes.
He's becoming your own identity, protecting your own identity. So he can speak more about what he's doing on the grape side. But so there's a lot of great stuff. We've got another meeting coming up with the new executive director of Venture Madness, Invest by Southwest, Sharon Ducati. She was just appointed about a week ago. So we're meeting with her in September to talk with her.
And your board of directors is a powerhouse.
Yeah, my board of directors is a powerhouse. So we just actually met with them Friday. So we met with them Friday. So we've got, so it's pretty good stuff. We're moving in the right
great
direction.
stories about how she meets her people.
Yeah.
She's kind of like me in that you pick people off the street basically, and you pick them up in your Lyft vehicle or something like that.
Lyft vehicle, or you run into them in that grocery store. You could be there for 30 minutes telling their life story. So people just tend to just tell me oh yeah, this is my sister and her 9 kids or something like that. So I get, by the time I'm 30 minutes in the grocery store trying to shop, I already know they moved here from Toledo.
You're a storyteller. You love that, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of your big thing, is you're a historian and a storyteller, right?
Yes.
So these are all things, Aaron, when you go off to school that, take advantage. If you get something comes up, get in touch with Jennifer. If something comes up, it's up. Because that's how you build value in your life, by being valuable to other people.
And my one advice for you going off, what are you going to study?
I'm studying economics and financial economics.
Okay. That's about my alley. I taught economics in high school.
Oh, she
wow.
was. Yeah. She wasn't here last week. You got to hear a story about her teaching economics.
I don't want to. But no. But my one piece of advice to you is, when you go, meet everybody. Mm-hmm. You may not have a connection with that person, but everybody that you meet will imprint something on you, that you'll learn something from them. You'll be able to you'll be able to talk to people and be able to learn their backgrounds. And when you when you're meeting people and you're talking to people and you're communicating, they may not be your lifelong friend, but you're able to hey, I met somebody from this. It's a whole world of experience that you meet different people from different walks and backgrounds. It will change you, because you'll get to see different viewpoints and different understandings, and always be open. And that's the biggest thing.
Let me follow up with a couple other people in the studio that haven't met Jennifer before. Tom Woodward, give a little history of your background. You've had I've known Tom for 20, 25 years. And this is the first time we've seen each other in a long time because COVID shut the world down. But I know it had a big effect on your life in some ways too. But give Jennifer and Aaron, since you haven't met anybody in the studio, or Doc, give them a little background with your life, okay?
Okay, I was raised in the Northeast in the suburbs of Manhattan in the northern New Jersey. Went to school there at Rutgers, as you referenced earlier, and so that was the beginning of my life in that part of the world. Moved to Pennsylvania. I had founded a business. It was a marketing and advertising business. We worked with a lot of companies, Fortune 500 companies. I sold that business when I moved out here to Arizona. We had more family in Arizona than we had back east at that time, and then kind of moved in a different direction. I had some time. I got involved with some nonprofit activities. I was on the board of a nonprofit back east, and it was a really rewarding experience, and met some wonderful people through that. I had some roots in the world of construction. My grandfather was a contractor, and I decided to found a building company.
That's how you got. I didn't know you had the roots.
Yeah,
Like that. I didn't know that.
yeah.
So you've gotten pretty good at
Yeah,
construction.
yeah, so-
are you still building like pickleball courts?
Yeah, well, we have a separate division that does outside work, but and I'm an avid pickleball player. I love it. I play several times a week. And I had a client that needed a court coated, and then right on the heels of that, had another client that wanted us to install a court at their property. And so we decided to set up a separate entity. It's Pickleball Court Guys, and so we do all the.
Oh, that's the name of That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been fun. Yeah.
So you've had, and you got wonderful daughter who I know you got a other family, but what's up with your daughter these days? What's she doing?
She's married, and she was just visiting just about a week ago.
Where'd she move to?
She moved to Spokane, Washington.
Oh my goodness!
Yes,
okay.
She's married Patrick Flynn, and just a great guy, and they've been married about a year and a half now.
Terrific. We'll get back to you in a couple minutes. Doc, I want to get Doug Morris in this
Sure.
conversation. So, Doc, how did you? What got you? You described your roommate orienting you to the campus. What was your progression in your life? Give us a quick summary of that, so Jennifer gets an idea and Tom gets an idea.
Okay, yeah. So, funny fact, I was actually going to be a computer programmer. So out of high school, I was taking all these different coding classes and hardware stuff. So very, very well versed in a computer.
So you've always had an interest, because you see a funny story, because your path went different. So you started like really into computer stuff. Is that right?
Yeah. And then I actually went to Argentina for a couple years.
Was that a mission trip?
Yeah. So that was from my church.
A little bit. I know Doc from I go to his chiropractic office. I don't think I've used Doc as a chiropractor, but he's got great massage therapists in his office.
I try.
Fabulous place. And I've heard from them nothing but great stuff about you as an individual, that you look out for people, that you take care of your people, and so I think that says something. Now, I don't know. So you went from your mission trip in Argentina. Did that help you as a worldview, or what was that like?
Oh, that's like a whole conversation. It's kind of like a little life, because like
we got about 1 minute in the segment, maybe.
You basically are like next to somebody 24 hours a day, like 5 feet from you
for a couple of years.
2 years.
That's kind of everything with the Mormon world. Is everybody goes through that mission?
Yeah. I mean, most people, but it's all volunteer. But I went from there, and then all those jobs kind of moved across seas. Stuff went down.
Let's pick this up in the next segment.
Okay.
We're going into a little short break here, but we are the Young Reporters, getting to know our guests a little bit. The whole point of the show is everybody in the studio gets to know each other. They go off and do great things together. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the short break.
Welcome. This is Trey Trusco. You're now watching the older version of the Young Reporters podcast, hosted by Bob Fishman and Alan Ripa.
Welcome back. This is Tom Woodward, and I am privileged to be part of the Young Reporters show here with a wonderful group of people. And Jennifer, I have a question for you. You mentioned that you taught economics, and how has that changed your life?
Wow, that is a great question. I would say the teaching was probably one of my finest moments. So I taught over 3,000 students in the inner city of Tucson, and then that's what brought me here. Was teaching. I got recruited to teach, and so economics. It was fun because most of my students were 9th through 12th, and they were.
It was a rough crowd.
It was
right?
a rough crowd. I mean, it was a very rough crowd. I mean, handcuffs. You got kids, been in and out of jail who could not, they did not work well in the traditional classroom. So you had to, when you teach, some teachers teach by notes, or you got different ways that you learn. So I had to teach how they learned, and one of the things is I taught economics, supply and demand, and some of these kids don't know what supply and demand was, but they did sell
in their own way.
They did sell weed. And what happened was when I was teaching, they're like, oh, so I was like, what happens when you, it's just you selling? He's like, well, I jack my prices up. And I said, well, what if it's, you have other people? He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, the prices are, kind of the same. There's there's competition. I said, well, that's supply and demand. He's like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. And I got in trouble. They pulled me in the office. They're like, you can't talk like this. I said, well, they're already in trouble. I'm like, what, you gotta teach them how they know. And they knew.
They knew economics,
You
right?
related it. You took it from theory into practice.
Yes. So, I mean,
Unfortunately, it happened to be an illegal practice.
Oh, yes, yeah. So,
But not anymore, though, right?
Not any, well, it depends.
The weed part of it.
Yeah.
That's
but,
right. I don't experiment with drugs anymore. I know exactly what I'm doing.
So Jennifer, so does that apply to other courses you taught?
Oh no, well I would rap. So I would either rap or take it.
Is there a rap you can produce right now?
Oh no. Not on demand.
Okay.
So did you have some moments with some of those kids that you finally broke through and you saw some metamorphosis take place?
Oh, yeah.
You got
be
a
very
good story about
gratifying.
that,
Yeah,
right?
so I told the story last week. So one of my students was my first year teaching in the school. She was there she had only 9 credits left. She got in the wrong crowd. She had OD'd. And so the school had her sister had called me and then said, hey, can you go down to the hospital, talk to her? And so I called my principal. I was like, hey, is it okay to go down there? She's like, yeah, go talk to her. And I said, you got to get your head out of your rear. And she turned her life around. She ended up getting.
You talked to her while she's unconscious, sort of, or what?
Oh well, no, she had came through. She had came through.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went down there a little bit, a few days later, but I went to go talk to her, and then just when you have that mentorship with somebody and you're there and you're that consistent presence, you're gonna change their lives. And so she ended up graduating, and then I stay in contact with her, and then she ended up a couple of years I think it was at 26 or 27. She ended up getting her going to U of A, getting her degree in speech pathology, and then later on had gotten her degree, a master's degree in speech pathology.
And you're in touch with her regularly.
Yeah,
right? How old is she now?
Oh, she was 27 then. This is 4. Oh, sorry. So she was 27 then, and then so it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So I mean now.
So you mentored her through a lot of years.
Yeah, so I mentored her through a lot of years.
That's great.
Yeah.
So let me get back to Doc for a minute, because Doc, I think you've had some of that mentoring experience in your practice, probably. But so catch us up again. What was your journey to go from a computer guy wannabe to becoming a actual medical field, integrated medicine type of thing? What was your journey on that?
Yeah, so after, like I said, was saying the job market kind of crashed for computer programmers at that time. And I also realized I didn't want to be in the back room just coding in the dark. Mm-hmm. I liked people more. My back hurt, and my dad was like, go see a chiropractor. And I got adjusted, and I was like, this guy is a magician. He is wearing khakis and a polo, and he's getting paid to do it. I'm like, this is what I am doing.
So you liked the dress code, is that it?
No, not just the dress code. I liked, being able to be with other people. And
I noticed in your practice, you are Mr. Conversation.
Oh, really?
Yes, I noticed. Every time you're in your room doing your thing, yeah, it's a nonstop entertainment. I don't listen much, but it's just a constant flow of whatever. So you are like an entertainer.
I guess. I'll crack you up.
So
right?
you enjoy that. You enjoy that work, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I initially went into...
You crack me up. I just got it.
Yeah. So I initially went into chiropractic school, and I thought, well, we just crack people, right? And then
Crack them up. Huh?
Yeah, I crack them up. Exactly. But the president of the school, he was actually kind of like Mr. Miyagi. If you guys, I mean, for the younger people, they don't know what the Karate Kid was, but like Mr. Miyagi, you know, he kind of wax on, wax off kind of thing. So he eventually showed me the realm of sports medicine, where everything, you know, the other end of chiropractic is everything's very, very scientific based. We're trying to be evidence based. We try to work with other healthcare practitioners and actually be a driving force in westernized medicine. Versus, you know, just whack and crack and you're done, right? So
is the industry making, have they gotten accepted by the general medical field at this point?
We're working really, really hard at that because my field is divided. Like half of my field thinks that, you know, we just need to adjust and do nothing else. And the other half is, you know, trying to do what we're trying to do.
And you have said at times that you're like on, Alan, you got a comment? What?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're not promoting crack here.
No, not crack cocaine.
We're back to Jennifer.
That's different.
Promoting, you know.
We're not doing that. We're talking, you know, cavitation crack.
Okay, good.
That's the dollar word.
Yeah,
that sounds worse actually, but
I was just thinking for those out in Radio Land.
It's very nice of you to protect our world of Arizona State University too, Will.
Yes,
we want to protect the Arizona State University.
They're very sensitive on stuff like that. I just want to make it clear.
We're cautious in politics and religion. And then now we'll be cautious in medicine and
crack.
Wannabe medicine, whatever. Yeah, in cracking, yes. So again, from the supporting your staff, I've heard that a lot. So what is it about you were like a staffing? You were mentioning that you're always dealing with staffing, and you're always. Why is that? What's that all about?
Oh, when you own your own business, staff is an integral part. So there's two kinds of leaders. You want to be the latter. So there's, you know, dictators, and then there's what I would call like a real leader. So a dictator is someone that's just going to, you know, sit on their high horse and kind of like point and say, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. Whereas a leader is going to be like down in the trenches with you. You know, that's why I'm not afraid to do anything in my practice. I'll take out the trash. I'll, you know, clean the front door, whatever. But you know, staff is actually what drives if you're an entrepreneur, that's what drives your business is your staff.
So you have to be pretty good at, it's like one-man shows aren't going to make it. Is that right? In most growing businesses?
Depends on your business model, but, you know, some models will work with a one-man show, but others, I mean, especially like mine, we are heavily dependent upon other people because I can't do everything in my practice.
And you do seem like, if people are struggling with something or other, you seem to give them a lift up or something, or at least the opportunity for that.
So, I mean, one of the keys to success, I would say, would be if the more time I spend on teaching or training or, you know, just being there for my staff, the better off it is going to be in the end for me, too, because my philosophy is that, you know, if I like to make this a work environment that's extremely good so that no one wants to leave. That's like my secret weapon is like I make it too good so they don't want to leave.
And so it's like this is a tough era for that, isn't it? It seems like people aren't long-term in general. It seems like they're ready to move. So you keep your people on average longer than most?
Oh yeah, I would definitely say I keep my people. I have one massage therapist. She's been there actually longer than me.
Okay, wow.
And then I have other ones that have been with me, you know, 5-6 years.
That's good.
Which is not the norm, right? Normally people in that kind of field, they're usually there 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year.
And your business seems to be very successful. It's up in North Scottsdale, and you said you've been there about 7 years now?
Yeah,
yourself?
7, 8.
Okay, yeah. Congratulations. I love the practice. I love the people you hire. You've got some very good judgment in you, apparently, for something or other. So
I just give people the benefit of the doubt, too.
Hey, Jennifer, since we're going to lose you probably after this segment, and you went to what college? You went to
Newman University.
And that was back in Kansas?
Kansas, yeah.
And so what's your memory of, a little advice for Aaron before you have to head out?
My best advice is, like I said earlier, just try to meet as many people as you can and make the best moments that you can, because some of those people are going to be your lifelong friends.
Any specific memory of when you went off to campus for the first time?
Okay.
Was it local? Was that school local?
Yeah, it was local. So the one time I was a little bit of a troublemaker.
A little bit.
So the one time, I went to a Catholic school, and the nuns, the Adorers of the Blood of Christ, they sponsored the university. So their convent was right across the road from the campus, and so me and a friend of mine, it was like 10 o'clock at night, decided to go in
about 30 seconds.
in the middle of the snow and go and take their canoe out on their pond. Did not know that the canoe had a hole in it, and we sank in the middle of the pond in February.
This is your freshman?
No, this is my junior year, and so we ended up getting in trouble. So the campus security, the nuns called campus security, and I actually, the caveat is I worked for campus security as a
was this the school or the college?
It was at the college. Yeah,
okay.
I worked as campus security as my school college student job.
Story, we're going to lose the point of your story. We're listening to Jennifer Conrad's big college story. We are the Young Reporters. We're here at ASU Sky Song. Stay with us. We get one more segment of the show. Stay with us.
Hi, I am Jennifer Conrad, co-founder and CEO of America Ascent, and you are watching the older version of the Young Reporters with your hosts Bob Fishman and Alan Ripa.
Hi, and welcome back to the Young Reporters. My name is Dr. Doug Morris, and I have a question for Aaron. What do you think the difference between your school now and then school in college is going to be?
Ooh, that is a good question, and something I've thought a lot about this summer, just like environment transition. Like everybody I know, I was really good friends with my teachers in high school, and just like my high school is a way I define my identity in so many ways, just because of
What
how
high school
much
did you go to?
I went to Phoenix Country Day School, PCDS.
That's a great school, and so it's going to be
It's going to be
interesting
hard
transition
to
to go
on.
from such a great school.
Yeah, they just started their first day yesterday, and it's like, oh, not there. And I went there for.
I guarantee you're going to have a better time in college than high school.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah.
But not too good of a time
Yeah,
there.
don't,
not
Right.
too good of a time.
too good.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited though. Once you kind of hit this point of comfort, you realize that like you need to have a change and another challenge in your life. So, but like biggest difference, I mean, my high school was so small, like everyone knew everybody. So it's going to be,
people were in your high school?
I had 79 people in my grade, and then it was K through 12. So there was like 750 in the whole school. But just the difference of like, not everybody's going to know who you are and know your whole life story. I had been there for 8 years.
How big is Claremont, do you know?
It's also small for college, but I'll have now like 400 people in my grade, and the whole consortium of schools over there is like 5,000. And obviously, like lots more competition in a good way, necessary, but like you're not going to be the best in something anymore, and you're not going to be known by all of your peers and all of your teachers. And just, I know the amount of work that takes to build all that stuff up. So I'm excited for it.
And let me ask one more. Are you scared to go into college because of AI? Because that's a big fear, I think.
Yeah, definitely in the last few years, like even just seeing AI use from other students in college, like my dad's really into following the market, so I've kind of done that too. Econ, I try and keep myself like educated and aware of like what the top companies are doing, where we're going. There's obviously like the job concern, and there's probably going to be job displacement, and it's really hard to know like what fields exactly that will be in. You can guess, but like you really don't know until it happens. And so the main thing is just to like build up all of the skills you can as like a human being to make yourself valuable to a future employer, and just be flexible.
You know, what's so weird about this? First of all, your question I find a very interesting question. I didn't know that. I know that people are concerned about the AI and stuff like that, but I didn't realize that kids are that. When we were going to school, Tom, Joan, I'll speak for us, we're somewhat in the same ballpark. There were no concerns other than maybe for us it was getting drafted into Vietnam or something like that. That was the big concern probably, but it was like you didn't think about it a lot. You just knew your as long as you're in school, you weren't eligible to be at that point. And so it was mostly just, we weren't, did you ever think about a job when you went freshman year, Tom, when you went to college?
Did I think about a job? I was really fortunate. I was able to focus on that and not work. I worked during summers, but I never worked during the school year.
Yeah, and so and Joan, were you thinking about your next job freshman year in college?
I never knew what I was going to
Yeah,
do.
that's me too, Joan.
I really, seriously, I'm a person who, I can't go back in time and say, this is what I want to be after I get out of college.
Ellen, you same thing with you, Ellen.
So I just want to say I've listened to this conversation in a couple shows, and I'm I've been saying, well, maybe I shouldn't say anything, but I think I just want to mention it, that in these conversations, I've never heard anybody talk about, I want to have kids and raise a family.
Interesting. Yeah.
I want to go back to the traditional, have a family and however many kids you want, up to 10, whatever it is. But that's the career path that they want to do. And I just think that that's a missing element that should be discussed, because
You're thinking the family element of the future? Is that what you're saying?
that the women, the younger girls, are to maybe go back to more of a traditional thought process of having a family and raise a family.
Funny you bring that up, because I think one of the challenges, and Joan's getting the frown, I love that Joan's look here and react. I think one of the issues, and Doc's laughing here, I think one of the issues is that women are so out achieving men, especially younger women, and if that younger means up to 45, 50, that I think women are making a choice that they're not desperate for
So
this family stuff. And that maybe later they would get the desire, maybe later. But I think men have to prove that they're worthy of these high achieving women. I think that's the where we're living through.
They should be.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm seeing.
Ellen, you're like I didn't know you were a trad husband type person.
Well, you know what? It's because being in the music that I've been saying when I was recording the fourth
you are
album.
a major music guy. Ellen was one of the leading music guys in smooth jazz era.
I know where middle C is on the piano. But anyway, I was getting requests for music. This is 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was from the 30s, 40s, and from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Now, today, I mean, we're still getting those requests, but I've got 4 radio stations in my car that are playing songs from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 70s, and 80s. And it's like they're going back. And I've also seen girls going on saying that the whole thing about having the career is, what can I say?
Trying to find a politically correct way to say
They think they made a mistake, and they wish they could go back and have the family.
I think. Well, you're talking about what age group? You're talking about
So the
women that you're talking about. What age group are they?
they're in their 40s now.
Okay.
Right. So they took.
So let me flip that back in Aaron's direction. Okay.
They took that as the career.
Okay.
And so what they're saying, if they could go back, they would go back to Aaron's age and go, I want to get the guy and have the family and raise the kids and go back to the traditional family.
I think that part of what you're saying has some truth to part of it, in that what you don't have, you wish you'd done something different. I think that's part of it. But boy, a lot of history is women. Sometimes the guys out there forever and ever. It takes guys a while to grow up, I think, in a lot of cases. And so sometimes by the time people realize that they missed out, they forget about the fact that. You got a comment, Joan? What?
You can finish your.
Oh, I was going to go to Aaron. So you go ahead.
When you talk about wanting or not wanting something, I happened to get a job that I enjoyed, and there wasn't a lot of dating involved or anything. But I grew up in a very traditional, wonderful family, so I wasn't opposed to that. But by the time I hit about 25, I said, "Well, I'm just about past the age where people get concerned as to whether or not they're married." It didn't bother me so much. But it took a while. I mean, I started dating my future husband when I was 27. Now, mine was an unusual story because it took forever for us to get to the place where we were going to
And
get
her
married.
husband, by the way, is a major figure in the country, one of the earliest African-American pilots, was American Airlines?
American.
And then he went on to have a media career, big thing in media. He became on national networks. He became the go-to pilot whenever there's an airline disaster, and he's also like a weather forecaster in Chicago, where we grew up. So go ahead.
Yeah, he had a fascinating life, and because of that, I had a fascinating life. But it didn't start till I was later, and I wasn't ever opposed to it. But by the time I got married, I was 38, and he wasn't really interested because he had already raised 3 kids. So there are other circumstances that come into it, whether or not it's not a blanket statement that women are just kind of opposed to the traditional marriage.
So let me bring this back to
Sometimes it just didn't happen.
Let me bring it back to Aaron for a second. So Aaron, what's your attitude in terms of where you're headed on that? Is it a concern to you about career versus family? Is that tell me where you're and other people your age.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm glad that Alan brought it up because I think sometimes people don't really talk about it very much. But a lot of my friends, and I would kind of put myself into this category, are just extremely career driven, and that's like really the only major focus. But I do think that is part of a problem because there's so many like amazing things about like building a family and what that does just like emotionally and in terms of fulfilling your life. And I think like as I get older, not that I'm very old right now, but like I would say I was even more career driven when I was a sophomore compared to when I'm a senior, just because you experience enough like friendships and stuff within your own family and you realize just the importance of what it means to have people close to you. So if you were to ask like one of my friends what their plan is on this, they'd probably say like, oh, I plan on being a really successful lawyer, doctor, whatever, and having a big family. And I'm like,
wow,
that's really challenging to do. So maybe we're not like thinking completely of like time in the day, stuff like that.
That's being nice, Eric.
Yeah.
Not thinking completely.
But I think that's kind of the mindset, is that like the world is telling you that you can do whatever you want and you can do it all and all the power to you, which is not like a terrible message in and of itself. But I think like it prevents people from kind of making sacrifices and thinking through things all the way.
I think part of that too, the way I look at it, is that the part about you can have it all type thing, you know? I think that people don't realize that. If we're coming to the end of this show, it's been a great show. They don't realize that if you want to go to the final game in the FIFA Championship, or if you want to go to the final game in the World Series, it would help if you actually saved some money, because you're going to pay $5,000 minimum for a ticket. Mm-hmm. But people in this era think that that's what they're going to do because everybody else is doing it, they think. And so it's a really goofy mindset. Alan, that was a really interesting direction you took us into. I appreciate your question. And it was very inclusive. Our special guest, Erin Patterson, in her second to last show with us before she goes off for the first time to college. We are the Young Reporters. I'm Bob Fishman along with Alan Ripa. We've had with us in our studio, we've had Erin Patterson, our about-to-be freshman at Claremont McKenna out in California. We've had Jennifer Conrad, who sort of like the entertainment section here with the big AI stuff going on. Dr. Doug Morris, my favorite chiropractic office ever and ever. Tom Woodward, my good friend from years and years, and Joan Suzanne Tillman, my college good buddy that we never met until 50 years later. This is the Young Reporters. Stay with us. We'll have another show soon. Thank you for listening.
Hi, this is Dr. Sky, and you are listening to the Young Reporters with Bob Fishman and Alan Ripa.